So Steve and I are out here today on a beautiful brisk day, and a company had contacted me and said, hey, we've got these new, what I call brodozer lights. We noticed you've got a F-150. Would you be willing to put them on your F-150, make an install video and do some reviews for us? I said, sure. Well, we got them all out, laid out here. The problem is, I have to have 19-inch wheels. Old Blue's only got 18s, but you know what does have 19s? Is the Q. So today, me and Steve are going to put these wheel lights on my Q. So I'll go over with you what all we got here. Obviously, there's 4 lights. They're going to mount to the dust shield right here. They have brackets. So we're going to start in the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zip tie the wires to the brake line, just run right beside the brake line, all the way up to the front of the car. Then somehow run them back in the firewall. This is the control box. You can see it tells you left, right. It doesn't matter if it's front, rear. They just go together. They got a waterproof O-ring. You've got power, ground, left turn signal, right turn signal, brake light. We'll worry about all that later. But they mount with these little brackets. So we got to pull the brake caliper and the rotor off. Then we got to figure out how to mount the brackets. There's 5 on each one. So we're going to have to clear the arms and make sure we don't get over there. So they're all going to have to be like on this side. So we get this off, mark them, drill some holes and bolt some brackets on. So we got the rotor and the caliper off. Caliper's back there. We've drilled our pilot holes, 4. It says 5. Make sure, one thing to pay attention to is when you're drilling, look what's behind, because we were going to go right here, but then that's part of the knuckle right there, so we can't go right there. So we may go on this side of it, as you can see. I didn't want to go out here. I was worried about getting into the caliper or whatever. Yeah, but like don't drill here, as you can see. Like here's fine because you got plenty of room. But like right there. So we got our pilot holes. So we might go here or here. So we're gonna drill these out a little bit bigger. We've got bolts that will go through. They go through the bracket. We weren't exact with the hole because these are slotted, as you can see. So, and then we will get this mounted. Like I said, I'm going to run the wire to the brake line and then run it under the car all the way up to the front. Maybe, I'm hoping maybe an hour on each end. Hardest thing will be you're getting power. Steve's going to make our holes a little bit bigger. One more size, Steve, I think.
Let's see here.
Or just give it a little waller.
I can make it bigger if you need to.
That'll do. Okay. So we got it all. We got our ring in there. Got everything bolted. Testing measurements here. Measurements, fitment. Everything looks good so far. Just got to kind of move. This can go up a little bit, so it's not as close down here. If this was a perfect circle, it'd be easy just to make 5 points. But where we can't use this point right here because the caliper, like I said, the point's behind it because of the arms. But it looks good. So once we get this side done, we can move on to the other side. Like I said, I'll run wires up there through the front. This shouldn't be that hard. So I got everything mounted. Went to put the rotor on. Caliper won't fit between here, so now I got to take it loose, put the caliper on, then put this back on. So rotor, caliper, light ring. Remember that. So I got 2 options on how to run this wire. I can either run it with the brake line and then run it under here. What I'm thinking about doing is coming down through here, taking these bolts loose, running it. So you can see the brake lines and stuff come out right there, then run up to the front. Or on the other side, there's a wiring harness that goes into the bottom of the trunk and a grommet. Debating if I should take that grommet loose, shim up through there and put the grommet back and then run under the carpet. I'm gonna get the other side mounted and then we'll figure out how we're gonna run these wires. That wheel's fitted, just needs to be torqued. That wheel's fitted, needs to be torqued. Steve's running the wire under that little plastic tray. He's already got this side done to here. We labeled this one, that way we know this one's the right side, that'll be the left. So we get it here, run it up through there. The only issue I'm gonna have, where to mount it. Either mount it in the car, then I have to worry about getting the wires inside. I thought I may just, if I've got enough room, just mount it in this box, because then I can run it straight to the battery in the ground. The only issue I'm going to run into there is I don't know if that wire how I'm going to get it over there, I would have to like run it up and over and da-da-da-da-da, because you got exhaust down there and stuff. I'm trying to keep away from all that. So that probably 20 minutes, the backside will be done on the ground. I'll back the car up or turn it around or something, jack the front up, do the same thing on the front, and then we'll get to the wiring, the fun part. So this wasn't that bad of a job. I'd hate to see how much a shop would charge you for this, but it wasn't that bad of a job. Rear's done, on the ground, torqued, mounted, wires ran up to here. I think the other side is going to give me some fits, because I don't know how I'm going to get that from over there to wherever I mount it. Unless I mount it right in the middle somewhere. I might mount it like right there, if everything will reach. I'm not mounted over there, either in here or over there, and just run a wire. We've already got the caliper loose on the other side. Steve's drilling, I know I'm sideways. But we'll go from there. Just, I'd say another hour, we'll be done on the ground. So, Steve's getting ready to put the brackets on, tighten them down. I've got this slide on. Getting ready to test fit the wheel. I think I may have to bend these brackets or move them in a little bit more, but that won't be bad. At this point, I can loosen them up on the back, wiggle them, and then get the wheel. And then we'll run the wire up. I think this is the ABS sensor. So I'm going to run this wire up beside of it, run this wire up beside of it. I think I'm going to go in this fuse box and steel power, and then run the ground wire to the ground wire on the engine, and mount the control box like right here. Either zip tight through that bracket right there, or there's a hole right here. Maybe attach it on this hole on my intake and just let it live right here, and run all the wires up through there, attach them, and then I'll just run power down through here, like I said, ground to there or there or wherever, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna see, this is it says it's for wiper de-icer, and then there's another one up here that says it's for PTC heater. It's a 30 amp. Those are things I don't have, obviously, as you can tell. So I need to figure out if they are key on, accessory on, da-da-da, whatever. I want something that it's key on. That way when I turn the car off, it kills it. I could just, of course, run to the battery, run to this jump post, but then it would be on all the time, run the battery dead. So get this wheel on, get the bracket light over there, and then run some power. And it's about 4 o'clock. We've got about maybe two and a half hours till darkness hits, and then so that's done. You just gotta stick the wheel on. This is done, gotta stick the wheel on. I got all my wires ran up. We checked, this is hot all the time. This is probably for like jumping, it's supposed to be jumping the car, but I mean, because it has this thing over it. So that's hot all the time, so we don't want that. So what I'm gonna do, if I can't steal power from here or here, see if one of these, hopefully those aren't like switched somehow, that they're power, just power for a fuse. It's got power coming in, you know what I mean? And then I'm going to mount this one. It's going, I wish this was like 6 inches to a foot longer, because I can bring it over here. I'm gonna try and mount the control box right here, and then the wires should go right there together, and I'm just gonna like, and then I'll run my ground wire to there or here. Like I said, we'll still power from here. So everything is done. We've plugged everything in. Everything works. I have to download the app. There is an app that will control it. We are going to run to advance the van, the car, or something. Like I said, this is hot all the time, so we can't run that. Put this guy back. We'll just steal one of those two. Like I said, run the wire out. And we can just ground to there. There. So those are the factory grounds, and then the control box we'll just put it like right here, 2 self tappers. We'll be done. Like I said, everything out under the hood is constant power, and I want something that only works with the key. That way I don't have to worry about turning the lights off and on. So I've got this guy, got the fuses. I've got my fuse box pulled off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and start testing some of this stuff. See, there's an empty one here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's an empty one here, empty one here, and then there's this one here that says towing, and then there's an empty one here. I don't know what towing would be. I don't even know if there's a fuse in there yet. And the other thing is we have a cigar lighter and a power socket. I would say this is probably the power socket, since there's 2. And this would be your cigar lighter if I was betting. So I might steal power off of this because I never use that. I always use these two because I like the idea of if you plug something in here, you're gonna have the cord. But in here, you can at least tuck the cord in and hide it. Plus there's two here. So we'll see. Even if I tap into that with this, there'll still be power there if I ever needed to use it. So I'll get my voltmeter, plug this in, and we'll see first of all if that has power. If there's no fuse in there, we'll just steal power off of that. But I don't know what that is, because there's not a towing package as far as I know, unless there's something in Japan or overseas. So I don't know what that does, but we'll start there because that's easiest. So here's how, the only bad thing about doing this is I've got accessory on, so it's going to beep incessantly. So here's how I'm going to tell. So I went through this empty one here, this empty one here, and that empty one don't have any power to them. I plugged this in with 2 10s, no power. So what I'm going to do now is I've got my phone plugged in to that socket. So I'm going to unplug the cigar lighter, and if it kills power, that tells me that this is cigar lighter, that's power socket. If it doesn't kill power, that's power socket. So we'll figure this out. Okay, so I couldn't get the cigar lighter fuse out. I've actually like pulled pieces of the plastic off. You can see it's chewed up. I used the factory fuse puller and tried to use, and the other problem is you can't get a good like grip on it because of the e-brake. I'm sure I could probably push the e-brake down and get it out of the way. But the other problem I ran into is those might actually have power. This is a different style fuse. This is a micro and this is a full size. So that may not be creating contact. So I'm going to see if all these are that way. They all appear to be. And we'll go from there. So Steve and I needed the low profile mini, and those were the regular mini. So hopefully these are it looks like the right fuses. So I'm going to try this again, put these in some of these blank ones. I'm thinking the other one was too big, and even though it fit, it wasn't making contact. So I'm going to slide this in, check it in with my voltmeter, see if I've got power on some of these empty ones. Apparently there is a towing package you can get on these cars. It's for the wiring and stuff. I asked on one of the forums that I'm on, and they said apparently that one of the girls said that she has a Q50 in Miami and she uses it to tow her jet skis. I never thought of this car as a towing, but I'm sure it'll do it. It's got the same engine like a Murano or like a Frontier, basically. Frontier's got a 4.0 version of this. So I don't ever plan on towing, so I may just steal the power off the tow. So let's get this open, get in there, and see what happens. So we have our inserter fuse. I've got it in the towing. When I try and read it, apparently nothing here is grounded. None of these bolts provide ground, so I can't find a ground to complete the circuit to tell if there's power. So worst come to worst, if there's no power here, I will literally pull it out and go over to this cigar lighter. That fuse is like welded in there. I think it will not come out. But like I said, if there's no power there, I know there's power over on the cigarette lighter one, so we'll just switch it over and swap those fuses. And then what I'm going to do is just tuck this back in, run the wire down through here, and then try and go up and come out right there, or right here somewhere. I'll find a way to come out, or I'm sure I can come out right here somewhere. There's got to be a way to get in there. So we'll find a way. There's got to be a way to get in. There's wiring there. There's a ground wire. Where all that goes to, you know what I mean? There's got to be a way. Oh, we'll figure it out. That'll be the hardest part, is getting the wire from in there to out here. So we had to do some fighting because there was the wiring grommet is behind the e-brake, and there's another grommet behind here that we could not get through. Just we could not force the wire through. So we drilled a little hole up there right beside the brake booster and pushed the wire through. And I'm running off the, like I said, cigarette lighter right now. Actually, that's the towing package is what that is. So, and as you can see, we have lights. Well, had lights. I want to do something real quick. All right, hold on, Steve. Now let's see if I have lights.
Which that's just, that should turn those headlights on if I hit that, don't it?
No.
You don't?
No. Well, blinking. But we've just got everything temporary together. So let's see. Gotta deal with the remote here. Let's see if this works. The reason it was acting up before was there was no battery in the remote, but Steve has a plethora of batteries, so now I'm going to do some zip tying, get some wires in places they're going to live, do some stuff here. Yeah, if you've got some small zip ties, it'd be great. And then the other thing is too, the car's not on, so they're on. That means they'd be on all the time. So I'm going to get in here and figure out which one of these fuses. Apparently towing has power all the time. So I'm going to figure out what has power when it's just on accessory, because I don't want these on all the time. So I ran into something I've never ran into. Let me close this door. So here's something I ran into, Steve, I've never ran into. So, explain this to you while I explain it to them. So I pulled out the towing fuse. Power all the time. See how this one's empty? And that one's empty? No, see, this one's empty. And that one's empty. Power all the time. So so I went to power socket, which is your cigarette lighter. And it doesn't have power all the time. So it's 20 amps there.
Yeah.
So what I did was I put a 30 amp on top and a 10 amp down below for the lights. Because I tried to get this one out, but the fuse acts like it won't come out. So
real small ones.
It was just breaking as I was tearing it apart.
I might have some.
Yeah, but I can't get it out. So, but everything works now because when I hit my accessory, my phone charges and I have lights.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to see me, but it's dark, obviously, because I need to show you how some of this stuff works. I wanted to explain to you a couple of things I did, why I did them. There is a feature with these lights where you can tap it into your brake light, and whenever you push your brake, the wheels will turn red. There's also a feature where you can tap your left and right turn signal, and when you turn the turn signal on, it flashes the left side of wheels, flashes the right side if you turn the right side on. I didn't tap into that because all of the lights on this car, brake light, turn signals, headlights, are LED one piece. Like if my headlight goes out, I have to replace the whole headlight assembly. Some of the guys online said that they would be worried about tapping into those because the signal, the voltage you would pull to trigger these or to power them or whatever could mess with like your turn signal or your brake lights working, so I didn't really get into that. There is an app too. I did not download the app. I literally just used the remote because Kentucky is what is called a hands-free state, meaning that you cannot use your, even if you're stopped at a red light and you pick your phone up and use it, they can ticket you. I got a ticket for that in Alabama. In Atlanta, Georgia, because that is a hands-free state too. So I just use the remote because it's as simple as if I decide I want to change the color, like now we're purple, I can literally go, let's go green. And they turn to green. And I put the remote back, it lives in my cup holder. There's all kinds, you've got red. Go through all the colors here. Yellow, orange, you got two oranges. Another orange, blue. This is supposed to be purple. But this is more purple to me. And you got another green. Then you've got, if you put it on auto, it'll, and then you can slow it down, or you can speed it up. There's different modes, as you can see. You can turn the brightness down too. Turn the brightness way down. Whenever you get down to the, see how it flashes that white, that means you're as low as you can go. Or the other way means it's all the way up. I like to just run around with just a solid color. There's also on, obviously, off, on. When you turn the car on, it does automatically turn on, like the lights come on. So a lot of days if it's during the day, like I'm going to work at like 8 in the morning, I'll turn on and then just turn it off, because there's no point driving around with it in daylight because you can't really see them. Like I said, you've got your strobe, you click auto, and then you change the settings. It's got white too. I like the white really well. Auto, and then you get into your strobe settings and stuff. So the one setting I haven't found yet, and I may get the app and see, is I wish there was more of a fade. Like this is like red, blue, like it'll like go like get bright green and then fade out to nothing, and then red will come back on. I wish it just went green to red, like it goes green, red, like it's a hard transition. I wish more of like the red went away and the green went up, like a fade. I hope that makes sense. But it does it a little bit, but I don't think it's as much of a fade as I would like. It's more of just a change. That's just me being picky. But I did have my cousin shoot me some video of me driving around, so here's the good stuff, because I know this is what you've been waiting on.
A little stronger now.